a tile. So here we go. Number 451. I hope that's a number anyway. I think it is. And I've got a blue tile from my regulars. I've got pen, pencil, tortillon, white pen today. And I've also got my coloured pencils, you know, things like that lying around. So shall we make a start? And first thing I'm going to do is regular pencil. I'm going to put myself a guideline in. Now, I'm going to go from corner to corner. Now, don't do this too heavy. Just do it so you can see it, because you're not going to need it completely. I'm going to go a little bit heavier just to be sure that you can all see what I'm doing on screen. Okay? So far, so good. So let's sort of give ourselves a bit of a, let's have a look at a bit of a halfway point. So imagine between here and here, a bit of a halfway. And I'm going to do the same on each one. Okay? You see, I'm not particularly worrying too much if it's not exactly right. I'm not measuring it. It's just going to be about halfway. And I'm going to put another one in between there. So I'm splitting that space up there. Okay. I'm going to need another one, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm going to deal with that afterwards. Okay, so this first one here, what I want to do is, let's have a look. I'm going to come in and I want to form a little bit of like a box shape there, you know, so those lines join with each other. Just sort of dotted lines. See, I'm not using straight edge. I don't want a box there, just need it for the guide. All right, so far so good. So let's go in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to hold my tile, so I've actually got the point pointing up. Okay, so there's my centre. There's my marks. There's that little box. There's the point at the top. So first things first, what I want to do, and I'm going to do this in pencil just for now. I'm going to go from this middle section to about halfway with a bit of a curve. And the same on the other side. You see? Imagining where it is, putting the curve in. So I'm going to do the same on all sides. So again, imagine about halfway, look. One there, and one there. And again, so imagine about the halfway. One there, and one there. And again, imagine halfway. One there, and one there. Okay, so if they're slightly different, which mine probably are, please, that's fine. You've got guides, they were just there to help. But they don't have to be exact. Okay, so I'm going to come in now. And this time, let's look at these curves or these lines that I've done again there. And what I want to do now, coming in with pen, my 03, I'm going to come in with that shape and I'm going to curve it slightly over. Because then I'm going to come back and draw that line in. Yeah. See, that's just because my pen wasn't straight. All right, so let's do the same on the other side. Now, of course, you can turn yours so it's comfortable for you. See, curved it over slightly because then as I come back, I've got a little bit of something to work to. So let's do that on the next one. So again, please turn your piece so it's comfortable for you. Don't think you've got to keep it in the same position. And again, around. See, slightly coming over, then back in. You see? And again. So, following it along. Back on myself a bit. Ooh, a bit of a wonky. That's because I wasn't so comfortable there with that particular angle, but I'm going to go with it. So I don't want to be turning it round too much and confusing you. So I don't want you to think, where is she now? What's she doing? But that's okay. All right. And so we've got that kind of a thing. So far, so good. All right. So let's have a look there now. I'm going to stick with pen. And we've got a couple of little sort of notches here, haven't we? So first thing I'm going to do, this notch here, I want to put myself a little shape in there. Same in all of them. So work into that centre point. There we go. and that one. There. Okay, see that's different to that. I'm not worried about that, that's fine. If yours is a little bit different, don't worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to do something similar, but what I want to do is come to this point now, and I'm going to come from here. You see? Up and up. So same thing. Again, I've got those guidelines to follow, so I've got a bit of an idea as to where it's leading. And this one to this one. You see? Following to that point. And then again, there to there. So we've got that. Okay. So I'm going to put myself another mark in now. So imagine, I don't know, 5 or 6 mil up, something like that. Let's put that one in. So whilst I've got that sort of idea in my head, I'm going to mark all of them. Okay. And then I'm going to come around. I'm going to do all this side first. Put myself a curve in. You see, this time it's not going to the point there. I'm just relying a little bit on muscle memory to get them in a similar place. Hence, I've done all 4 first. Because then what I can do is I can come back and do the other side. See, that's much more comfortable doing it that way than trying to keep it in one place. You see, so we've got that shape over the top there. All right, whilst I'm here with this, and you choose a side on these, it doesn't matter which. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra layer inside there and then fill it in. An 05 will do the trick just fine. But being that I've got the 03 in my hand, I might as well work on that. And then this one. Okay. And this one. So you notice that I've stuck to the same side once I've made my mind up. And that's what I've gone with. Okay. So I'm going to look at the line I've got between the two here. I'm going to fill that in, put that one in. And then I'm going to work my way down. You see, as I follow it round, it's slightly curving because as I get to this point, the curve, look, is pretty much the same as the curve there. So it starts sort of from here and it sort of falls, changes its angle slightly and then into there, like so. So let's do that again. One on there and then work my way down. You see how it's starting to change angle and down we come into the similar angle to that there. So of course I'm going to do that on all 4 pieces, all sides there. So we've got something very similar. And the next one from there. And along we go. You see how sort of very quickly you get into the idea of just changing that angle slightly at the top, you see, so it then works its way down and into there. Next one, and into this. Okay, last one, and down we go. So it depends on how many lines you get in, how thick it's going to be. It, again, doesn't matter, it's a design. I am going to bring in my rubber at this point. I want to keep this line here just for a moment, but let's get rid of all the others. We don't really need them. Just make sure that your pen's dry. Remember that box we drew? I'm going to get rid of that now. Okay, you see? All but those original crosses have gone out the way. There you are. So we've got this kind of a shape. Okay. So I'm just going to come in with my pencil for a moment. I'm going to put my pen away just for a second. And imagine between here and here, about halfway. Okay. Same there, about halfway. About halfway. About halfway. Then I'm going to remove the rest of those lines. I just need that mark, but I don't want too much pencil line around. So let's get rid of it. Okay, just so you can see those marks. All right, so let's come back in and I'm going to pick up my gel pen. I've got a white gel pen and an 08. Again, you can carry on with black if you want. Sometimes it's nice to have a difference. Are we ready? So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to create like a wave. Now I want quite a wave. You see, like a wobbly kind of thing going on. And same the other side. Now when I say the same, don't try and make it exactly the same. Okay, it's going to be tricky to do that. So sort of imagine now that it's not going to be. Let's see. There we go. This is why I wanted rid of all the pencil, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to remove it from underneath that white pen. So as you can see, doing it with all, make sure they're exaggerated. There's that kind of a design. Because what I'm going to do now is pick out some lines. See when it dips here. Let's have a look. Let's put a couple of lines in. You see, so I've picked on where the dips are. So see this one here, look. See the dip there as well. You see, so I've put these little kind of lines going in. So let's have a look at this one. Definitely got a dip here, look, see? So we could put some there and there. And then got one there, look. You see how I'm just sort of picking up that odd bit. Let's do it here as well. See, they're all sort of curving in towards that centre. Well, I've got myself a starting point with those curves. See, that's a really definite one. It's so much easier to see when they're slightly more obvious like that. Okay, let's have a little look at that. See, so we've got this sort of little flounce around the top edge there. So I'm going to stick with my white pen. What I'm going to do is I want to put some little teardrops in here, just like we did with the last one, although this time I'm not doing it with a marker, I'm just doing it by eye. Looks about right there. And there we go. See, so we've got that. Let's put a couple of little dots above it. See, 3 dots, and you notice, look how they get, each one is a little bit smaller than the last. And again, look, little dots. 1, 2, 3. Try and keep them straight. There we go. Maybe that's a bit better. Okay. So let's come back to my black pen. Just going to remove that little bit of a mark there. Just make sure your gel pen is dry before you do any rubbing out, because it does take a little bit longer than the regular black pen. Okay. So from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and create myself a little shape here, like so. And again. Now we're doing this with 4 sides or 4 lines to start with. Imagine to do this with, I don't know, 6 or 8. Or if you did it in a circle, you'd get something a little bit different each time. Yeah. Okay, let's go in. So I'm going to put myself a little dot on the top there. And then keeping it small, I'm going to come down the sides, little bumps. And then down the other side with bumps. next one. Like that. Then down the sides with bumps. Okay. And again, notice that, you know, I've got a little bit different in numbers, but that's okay. I'm taking each one as an individual. I'm not trying to think of it as a twin or anything like that. It's doing its own thing. And this one. Dot as before. And I'm going to come round like so. And again. Okay. So I want to look at this little space here. Again, I'm just going to zoom in a minute. My fingers will let me. There you go. And I'm going to come up and create a loop this side. And up, create a loop this side. You see, I've got a little bit at the top. So I know you think, well, I could just put a line up the middle. You could, but you're not going to quite get the same thickness there. You see, we've changed it slightly. See, up and down. Up and down. Same with this one. Up, down, and down. Okay. God doesn't want to zoom in. All right. So what I'm going to do now, just for, I'm going to come back to my white pen. And I'm going to put myself some little lines in here. So we're going to sort of put them in areas. So imagine you've got this as a section here. Yeah, like so. Imagine coming out, and I'm going to come out above here. And let's do one. It's not going to be the same on both sides, just a couple there. Maybe one there, look. One there. So all coming from that centre point, but sort of coming up and behind. See, I've got 3 going in there. And in, okay. And then I'm going to add some little lines going in both directions. Now, gel pen lends itself quite nicely to this. Let's have a look at this, because it's got that kind of a rough texture. It doesn't always work, if you know what I mean. You're not going to always get a perfect line, so sort of working around. I put one on top there, you see? You're going to get a slightly uneven feel. And see, gel pen's quite good for that. So I'm going to go and do that with all of those. Always sort of coming from the centre outwards. Okay. Sometimes when your pen gets going, it starts to get quite juicy, doesn't it? It's quite a lot of ink, see, on that one. So, you know, always from that centre, pull out. And you know, don't go back over it if it's not quite giving you a piece or a line or what, an edge. Don't go back, just leave it. And of course, if you're working on a white or a cream tile, you probably would have had to have done this with your black pen, which is fine. I'm just going to get a slightly different feel. See, we've started to get some little patterns coming through now. I'm going to put one, like, sort of up here. So again, sort of flicking those lines up and along there. Just be careful when, of course, it's going behind that one. And of course, once you sort of do a few of these, they get a little bit addictive. So you don't want you getting too carried away. Put a couple in there, look. And let's bring one out here. Again, I'm taking this sort of behind, so just be careful where it's sort of flicking. those pieces. See, it needs another one along there. Well, mine does anyway. You might find that yours doesn't need another, and it's absolutely fine. I'm going to put one sort of in there as well, like it's going underneath. Okay. So, you know, this is going to look a bit different, isn't it, if you've got a white tile? Why not do a different colour? Maybe use like a sepia or a grey pen or a blue or something for it, and see how that looks. Just something a bit different. But sometimes we do get a little bit set in our ways, and we do tend to stick to that black pen. And as lovely as it is, there's so many other things out there you can use. I like using a fountain pen, actually. I think that's kind of nice. The feel of it, you know, with the ink and things. Let's put one, look at the bottom end of it. It's in there. Okay, a few going around. So let's have a look. I'm going to come back in with black pen just for a moment. Let's just have a look. So see where here, look, I've just slightly gone over my black. That's okay, look, I can put it back in. So it doesn't matter so much with the white pen there. You can do that pretty easily. There we go. So that's pretty much it. I think I did everything else okay. All right. So let's come in with my regular pencil for now. I'm going to put some colour. I'm going to ignore these little bits. I'm going to come and put some shading on the outside. See, on the outside of those sort of white shapes there. Same on this one. And next one. So sort of continuing that idea of putting some in, going around. I'm not going over the white pen, but I'm going around it. You see? Okay. So these are going to come in here on both sides. Like that. So I'll do the same on this one. And again, you could actually do your shading on one corner and then work your way around. But I like to build it up and use the shading on, you know, and do every single piece that's the same first, and then move on to the next one, and etc, etc. So that one there, see? And that one there. And where I've got a thicker line now, I'm going to add a little bit there too. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to put some in the bottom of those loops there, just the bottom. Okay, so let's get our tortillon. Let's get some shading done. So let's just go in a little bit. So I'm going to start with where I started putting the pencil in, and just nice and gently work your way around. I'm going to go around those sort of dots. If you find you can't, not to worry, go over them, and then you could always go back in with your gel pen afterwards. That'll do the trick just nicely. And into that up there. See, following the shape round. And again, following the shape. It's kind of nice actually to go around those dots there. It makes you think a little bit more about where you're sort of putting your tortillon. I'm going to do these little bits. I know it's not in the same order, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, and just before I shade the other, what I want to do is I want to come in with my white pencil. So I've got my chalk pencil. See, you notice the difference, it's got the gold edge. Quite brittle, but it does mean it goes over most things. And you can actually blend them. You see, I'm going to go over those lines, but I'm going a line in the middle. See, giving it a bit of a highlight there. Now, I'm not intending on blending that out, but I wanted to get that in the middle. Then I can come in with my Tortillon and soften that up towards those edges there. Okay, let's have a little look out at that. That's better. So I'm not going over or into that white, I'm going up towards it. And just allowing my Tortillon just to sort of just kiss the edges a little bit there. And along. And into that bit. And remember when we did a little bit on that side? I'm going to come in, look back and forth and soften that out. Hey Leslie. There you go.
Okay.
And the last one. Okay. Another one piece. Okay. So that's that bit. So I'm going to come in now with our white. And you remember where we did these little lines? I'm going to choose a side. I'm going to add some to the same sort of side. See, so there I've got this one. And then on this side, I'm going to follow it through, same side, you see. Oh, Maureen, your birthday. Happy birthday. And here you are, spending time with us. I thought you'd be out on the Raz. I know what you're like. Okay, see, little bits of pencil. There you go. All the way around. Now for this one, I'm going to put a little bit in there. See, this is quite a large space. You do need a clean Tortillon for this. See, if I was to come in now with this one with graphite on the end, it would turn my white pencil slightly grey. So you should really keep a clean Tortillon just for white. I'm going to do it very gently, softening it off. Okay. And now Rose, happy birthday Rose. Have you got that sewing machine out? we all know that Rose is going to learn to sew, aren't you, Rose? So we're really excited for that. There you go. You see, sort of soften it off a little bit. So it's moving it in a similar way to how the regular pencil moves. So this is why we use chalk. So I'm going to add a little bit there because it's quite a big space. Yeah, this is why we use chalk and not a regular pencil, because you can soften this with a Tortillon. Oh, that's all right, Maureen. I'm sure she's having a fab day. How funny though, you two share a birthday. Yeah. I actually share a birthday with two of my teachers. How funny is that? Okay, so I've got that bit blended in. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a little bit around these little feathery kind of shapes. See, I'm not particularly being neat as such, just adding some around those edges. See, just giving it a little bit of an, almost like a little aura around them. It's going to have a little glow. There you go. See, just little bits. And then make sure you pick the right Tortillon up. And just sort of work it around. I didn't put much on, so it's not too much of a job to do with this. Just giving it that little bit of an essence. Okay. I see hardly any work needed really on that. It's just a little bit. Oh, Wendy, how lovely is that? It's funny how we must be drawn to complete opposites, but then to complete sort of similar kinds of people too. It's funny, isn't it, how it works? Okay, back to regular pencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm coming in to add around the edge of that little bit of a shape there. So over everything, we're keeping to the outer edge of my white pen. Okay, towards that bottom edge, I've gone a little bit more, see? And along in there. So you see how it sort of all works together. So I'm going straight over those little feathery shapes around the edges. Oh, Debbie, does he actually ring you and say happy birthday? I bet he doesn't. No. No. Okay. I suppose when, you know, for how many people there are in the world and how many days in the year, we've all got to share a birthday with somebody, haven't we? Okay, graphite one now. Notice the graphite one, not the white one. All mine end up being graphite. So here we go. Let's go around the shape. There you are. And the next one. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, where's Janet to tell me I've not done something? There you are. That's all right. I can come in and do it now. Okay. So obviously that cup of tea's sitting there looking at me, isn't it? That's what it is. Oh dear. We must all share a birthday with someone famous, do you think? We must do. There you go. I think I'm going to have to research and find out. Famous people. But then again, why are they, you know, fame? Is that everything? When people love it and then when they've got it, they don't want it. Oh, Janet. Yeah, I was there before you. All right. So I'm just thinking, actually, while I'm doing this, about adding a little bit of colour. And you sort of think, well, what colours would I add? You know, do I want it? I mean, you've got that lovely sort of glow coming off all these little feathers and things. So it's Paul McCartney. Well, Morans, he's going on tour again, isn't he? I heard that on the radio the other day in England. I don't know if there's a show next year. Was it going to be Manchester and London around Christmas time or something? Yeah, anyway. Okay, I'm going to bring in, let's have a look. I'm going to stick with like blues, I think. So I've got this lovely mindful blue going on here. So, of course, using my darks. It'd be rude not to. So, let's bring a little bit in there. I'm going to sort of colour it in. Oh, look at the colour. Now, I know there's some of you still don't have these pencils, and I can only apologise. I have been told that they should be arriving at customs in England next week. So depending on how soon they get through customs, depends on how quick they get to me. So it won't be for the next show. It'll probably be the show after, okay? So see, so let's bring a little bit of, let's have a look. I'm going to stick with blues. I could bring white in, but let's go with the Mystic. Add that on top. Slightly paler. And work those two in. And remember, when you sharpen these, because they are triangular, just take your time with them. You know, don't go at them. Move the pencil sharper, not the pencil. Just take your time with them, you'll be fine. But with triangular pencils, it always takes, that first one's always a bit of a risk, isn't it? You've always got to be careful. So I'm sticking with my blues, Tranquil blue. That's my darkest of the blues. I'm going to put a little bit in that bottom edge. See, working it in into there. And the sun. Okay. So something sort of in the middle there. Could go with the yellows, the pinks, the purples. So let's go a little bit pinky purple, shall we? Yeah, pinky purple. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of this in. I'm going to try if I can to avoid the white. Let's go in a little bit. Let me see. There you go. And being that I've got a pinky purple, I'm going to bring Elf Pink in. Add that up the top there. Okay. Let's work the two in together. Oh, Susan, it would look nice on parchment, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Have you tried these pencils on parchment? Actually, that's a point. What about a bit of the darker purple then? The purple jewel in that bottom section there. There we go. So of course, if at any time you go over the white, you could always come back with the pen and add it a little bit more in. So I think what I'm going to do is come in with it and just sort of in that middle bit, put myself more of a dot. Okay, and just to be sure, making sure they're nice and bright. I know I went round them, so that was okay. I enjoyed that, but I'm just going to make sure that they're as white as they can be. Okay. And, oh, brilliant, Susan. That's nice to know. And there we go. I think here, you know, just where I've got this feather coming out, I'm just going to come back in with my pen. I'm going to make sure that those are actually not sort of coloured in. There you go. And then a little bit of black, you know, up those loops that we drew. Not all the way, just a little bit. There we go. And there is our tile for today. So a little bit of an initial on it. And have a play with it. Try a few different colours. And yeah, it looked lovely on parchment. Okay, other than that, have fun with this one. Take care, everybody, and I'll catch you soon. All right, bye.